wow, Disney is like freaking out because Disney is dealing with, oh my gosh, now he wants to tariff us too. I mean, hey, woke universities, you're not the only one feeling the heat of Donald Trump. The movie studios are, Disney certainly is. They've got the FCC breathing down their back right over at Disney right now, opening up investigations into the DEI practices of ABC News. And now they're looking to possibly tariff the Disney productions and the streaming productions that they're shooting overseas instead of in the good old US of A. Disney has earnings out this Wednesday morning. Look for those ahead of the bell, and they are certainly under fire for, as I said, a variety of reasons. FCC being kind of a biggie, but also just the pure old reality that the company's not doing that well. Not doing that well at all, and it's like he knows it. Did you see this one over the weekend? Donald Trump trolling Disney and Iger. May the 4th, get it, Force, for the Star Wars geeks out there. I'm not a Star Wars geek. Definitely not. But some of you may be. So may the 4th be with you. And including the radical left lunatics, he writes, who are fighting so hard to bring the Sith lords, murderers, drug lords, dangerous prisoners, and well-known MS-13 gang members back into our galaxy. You're not the rebellion, you're the empire. Okay. So Star Wars is now a Disney product. So kind of a fun troll from the White House over the weekend. I'll tell you, they do have a good sense of humor. You got to give them that. If nothing else, they get a heck of a sense of humor. But Disney may not have a sense of humor, nor do investors have a sense of humor about earnings right now, because their woke film division will pay the price in light of these tariffs. So this is just one more thing. You wonder why ABC News did not want Donald Trump winning. You wonder why Bob Iger seemed to be totally okay with Whoopi Goldberg saying insane things like, oh, he's going to round you all up, all the gays, all the this, all the that, and he's going to deport you. And we're looking at this going, how can they actually say this stuff? Like, this is so bizarre. Well, I think it was because they really wanted to make sure that Donald Trump didn't win because they were so terrified of this moment in time that we're looking at now, where the FCC would be in there saying, what exactly do you have going on for DEI? And why exactly do we need to have affiliates paying you, ABC, for this, I could say a bad word, but I won't, programming? On top of that, you're making all your movies overseas, that horrible Snow White that you made, that you saved all that money on with tax breaks out of the UK, well, we're going to make you make that stuff back here at home. Thank you very much. Maybe if you make it back here at home, you actually have to pay attention to profits a little bit more. I mean, you should be paying attention to profits. That's what investors want you to do, right? We got the stock trading around $98. It had been trading up around 200 and change. Don't forget, some 5 years ago. So this is dead money, bad money, plunging money. Disney has been a real mess. And you know what else is tough for Disney? The reality that they are no longer the only game in town. They've been trying this whole streaming thing. They know they got to get out of the traditional television business. They can't, of course, because nobody will actually buy their traditional television business. Don't forget, I told you the other day how it sold in the early 90s, ABC, the network, for some $19 billion, that's with a B, dollars to Disney. And apparently Disney got an offer from Nexstar for somewhere around $10 billion. And so suddenly Bob Iger went from, oh yeah, I'm going to sell it, to maybe I'm not going to sell it. Maybe we can actually make something of this here. Maybe we can turn this into a streaming business. Good luck. I mean, already Disney has lost that round to none other than Netflix, and probably Apple as well, because Apple has some really good streaming products. I mean, they get the earnings coming up on Wednesday, and one of the things that people keep saying is, can they actually even compete with Netflix? I mean, that is a big problem. They got dwarfed, pun intended, Barron's writes over the weekend, by Netflix. What investors want to be seeing on earnings day? Investors want to see that the parks division and the cruise division, right? That basically the experiences division is holding up, but they're worried that maybe it can't hold up in light of the economic challenges that we're facing as a nation right now. I don't know how true that is. I'm going to be honest with you. I looked at the visa numbers recently. Rob and I wrote about this actually at 76 Research, and we were talking about how, you know, the visa numbers actually looked really, really, really good. And so that was very encouraging to see, because it shows you the U.S. consumer is still spending, and enjoys spending and likes spending, and is going to probably continue spending unless things get really bad. But Disney is already using this as an excuse. Oh, if those park attendance rates are down and therefore earnings are down at the theme parks, they're going to point to the economy, and they're going to say Trump's economy is killing us. And it's the threat of Trump tariffs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So watch for that in the call. I wouldn't be surprised. It doesn't change how investors are going to feel. If we hear that things are bad at Disney and people start selling off Disney as a result, I think that, you know, it's still a bad scenario for one Bob Iger, who has not been able to turn this thing around at all. The other thing that came up in the Barron's article over the weekend, which I think is really interesting, is just how bad a disaster the film entity is. So, you know, maybe they ought to sell off the film division as well. Not just legacy media, but, you know, you guys have you jumped the shark in terms of the film division. And Snow White was phenomenal proof of that. Again, don't forget how they titled this at Barron's. They did say, that Disney is getting dwarfed by Netflix, getting totally dwarfed. But they're saying, you know, one of the reasons for this is because of the challenges they've seen at the film box office with Snow White, which topped $200 million in worldwide box office receipts. And before you say, woohoo, yay, you got to realize, as they write, hold the applause, industry reports say it cost about $250 million to make. I don't even think that includes the marketing, et cetera. I mean, they had a lot going on here and a lot that went into this. But $250 million to make, suggesting that it could need $500 million or more to break even. But after 6 weeks in theaters, ticket sales are down to a trickle. It is a poison apple. In other words, they write, Disney quickly halted Tangled, a live action remake based on the Rapunzel story. We told you about that right here, right? Because there was no way. When they saw how badly this one was doing, they realized they just couldn't have another bomb, another woke, DEI, nonsensical bomb out there that was not going to fly or play in mainstream America or elsewhere in the world for that matter. So this film division is under a tremendous amount of pressure, and it doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon. I actually think that maybe the tariff thing will shake things up, and they'll start saying, hey, you know, maybe actually we need to focus on creating movies that people want to watch, because we can't sell our TV assets. We tried. We want to. Right? Bob Iger told, I've played you the soundbite, CNBC's David Faber at Sun Valley some year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I really want to get out of this, you know, businesses that are not the opportunity businesses for our network. They are not ones that are going to be crucial to us in the future. And yet he couldn't. He tried, he couldn't. And so now he's back to square one. He's saying, okay, well, maybe I can change this into some kind of streaming business. And they're all proud because ESPN, I guess, got 200 million views in a recent month, streaming views. Dun, dun, dun. I just want to point something out, you guys. This is really good news. We're up to like 730,000 subs right here on this little channel. I'm not putting out 300 to 400 pieces of content a day like ESPN is. And guess what? We did 98 million views right here on this little channel last month alone. So that means I'm basically half the size of the streaming business of ESPN. I would just say, ESPN, you got a ways to go, but this is fantastic. And this is thanks to you. And this shows you how much things have changed. And maybe it's the individual as opposed to the network, right? That matters in this kind of new world and in this new streaming environment. So, wow, 730,000 subs, 98 million views right here on the Trish Regan channel. It's incredible. And I think that Disney is now sort of in this mode where they're not going to be able to get out of this. I don't know how they change. I don't know how they actually evolve unless they say, okay, we're going to double down on theme parks and cruises and the experiences. And, you know, at some point you got to go in, you got to shake up the film division, you got to shake up the TV division, and you got to actually get rid of all the wokeness that is weighing down your business and just look to turn a profit. Is it that hard?